Morning everybody, welcome to Maidenhead Rugby Club in the Thames Valley on a dry, cool, but more importantly, sunny as promised, should I say, day for some more European club touch rugby action with teams coming from across the continent to Maidenhead to take part in the inaugural competition at this level. Today we've got 45 games in total across 4 fields and 14 here on field 1 behind me, starting with Hurricanes from France up against Buffaloes from Scotland, followed by Hot Custard from England against Ireland's Donnybrook, and then Six-Pack Roosters from Edinburgh up against BBR from England. It's been a day packed full of action, as I said before, and it follows yesterday, which was extraordinarily competitive at times, and here to talk to me about it is England Touch Chief Operating Officer Greg Cropper. Greg, in a couple of words, how would you assess yesterday's play?
It's fantastic to see so many teams out here enjoying the sunshine. The fields are great over here as well on the 3G pitch at Maidenhead. Everyone was kind of enjoying the party last night, but the stuff on the field yesterday was absolutely fantastic. It was the quick games in terms of what people are used to. 25-minute games rather than the 40, so the tactics are a little bit different, and you've got to go out all guns blazing at the beginning of the day, which people definitely were doing. So yeah, it's really good to see the different aspects of how different teams play across the continent as well. You get used to that from an England point of view, playing against English teams, so great to have that kind of variety across Europe as well. It was really good.
As far as yesterday was concerned, we did see a couple of one-sided games, as you would imagine, given that the disparity between experience and quality. You know, we've got a few international players for one team where you might not necessarily have against the other. Today's not going to be like that. Everybody's been tiered into their respective seeding. So what are you expecting?
Yeah, exactly. I think, like you say, yesterday there was, however much you rank teams into pools, that's not always going to be the case on day one. Like you said, today in the cup, the plate and the ball competition, that top 8 is going to be phenomenal touch today. The likes of BBR, the Six-Pack team, there's a Hot Custard team, the CSSC, there's a lot of those top clubs that will be vying for that top spot, and I think it's too early to call who we think is going to win those big games today.
Who stood out for you yesterday, though?
I think for me yesterday, Donnybrook was a surprise. They came out really strong. They had some really fast players. The intensity they were playing at were really good. You always know some of the teams are going to put those performances in, so you kind of go, yeah, that's going to be the unexpected ones. People don't tend to talk about because of the consistent, always good kind of teams. But for me, Donnybrook were good, Six-Pack were good, and then the likes of the London Eagles from England were also good. So there's a lot of still top clubs that are vying for that spot today.
From an England perspective, how important is it to be hosting a competition like this on this stage in terms of as the inaugural European Club Championships?
It's just another fantastic event. You know, we're in a privileged position to be able to help out Europe and have this here. Been great facilities. Kevin, that's been doing a lot of the work behind the scenes from the Europe side of things. We've worked close on the European Championships next year, so it's good that we were never really concerned where the event was going to be in Europe. We were happy to help out. We put our hands up to say, yeah, if you need assistance, we'll do that. So yeah, it's great to be here. I think a lot of the teams are enjoying it. It's easy just flying into London and getting over here as well. So it made sense in the logistics type of thing as well. But yeah, it's fantastic that hopefully this event will become something in the calendar for future years as well.
Greg, thanks for your time first thing, and no doubt we'll hear from you later on during commentary. We'll be back with the first game, as I say, at 8:30 between Hurricanes from Paris, France, against the Buffaloes from Scotland. But if this is the first time that you're watching Touch, here's a little roundup of what to expect over the next few hours.
Touch is a minimum contact sport where the aim is to score more touchdowns than your opposition. Touch team is made up of 6 players on the pitch with up to 8 substitutions. Those 8 substitutions can roll on the pitch at any time. Touch can be made of mixed teams or single gender teams. In a mixed team, there is a minimum of 1 man and a maximum of 3 men on the pitch at any one time. At an international level, touch games are made up of 2 20-minute halves.
Half-time, girls.
But at all levels, you can have varying different half lengths and periods of time.
Well, yes, a very good morning here from Maidenhead, the European Touch Club Championships 2019, and this is day 2. This is the business end of the weekend. This is where we'll crown our champions of the various competitions that we've got going on over the weekend. And let's have a quick glance at the action that happened yesterday and looking at these 3 groups, and that determined who was going to be playing who in what competition today, and a mixture of successes for all the teams. Six-Pack Roosters from Scotland having a fantastic opening day, 5 games, 5 wins. The London Eagles coming in second, 17 points themselves, having a solid opening day as well. And then moving on to Group C, one of the performances of the day, Donnybrook Touch looked absolutely fantastic and clinical throughout the morning and afternoon. The team from Ireland, 5 played, 5 wins, and look at that, points for and points against. That points difference is absolutely huge for Donnybrook Touch. And having a look how the cup will be played throughout the day. So Six-Pack Roosters, Hot Custard, Donnybrook Touch, those 3 English sides in there, Cambridge Hornets, BBR and CSSC London, all involved in that one. And then looking at the plate as well, Buffaloes, Hurricanes, Touch Berlin, Thames Valley Vikings, Samrock and Source. And then finally, this is the bowl competition. Frankfurt, Barcelona, Triple X Amsterdam, RCL Touch, Leopards and AAC. And those are how we'll be lining up throughout the day. 14 games in total will be bringing you live on England Touch Rugby and BBC Sports Online. Our first game will be in the plate. It'll be the round 2 fixture, Hurricanes taking on Buffaloes. That'll be coming up very shortly.
A good part of the whole campaign over the last 4 years considering things. Definitely in the last 12 months, knowing that the temperature and the heat was going to be something that us, those from the England side, are not quite used to.
It starts way back when, and the medical team's so well organised. We can't sort of thank Carrie enough for the way she's led it. So well set up on all fronts.
Our strength and conditioning programme in the build-up to this event was led by 3 of our S&C coaches, all of whom have worked in sport in some way or another. We've then also got our physios that are all based in the NHS as well, but also professional sports clubs. From my own perspective, I'm obviously working with a number of Super League clubs at the minute, so all of those techniques and skills that we've learned over the last few years, we've brought all of those to England Touch to provide the best service for our players.
It's amazing that our team are all volunteers, and I think a lot of people forget that there's a lot of people here who are on annual leave and unpaid leave to support this. This is a big event, but it's big for us as well. It helps us to develop in our careers and a step forward, and I think everybody's put in a lot of effort to make sure that the programs are very specific to our sport. We've done a lot of data collection over the last nearly 6 years now, and we know the demand of the sport in our European setting, and we're starting to understand it a lot more in the Southern Hemisphere of what we need to do to keep our athletes fit. Injury rates are significantly lower than they were at this time, I was going to say 8 years ago, so my first World Cup in 2011. Athletes were nowhere near. We are sheets ahead of a lot of the countries here as well.
The players have reacted really well for this tournament. We've implemented a number of strategies, so wellness, we assess neuromuscular function, we're monitoring hydration after every game, and actually this tournament is probably the best buy-in we've ever got from players.
Oh, it's just amazing. Every time we go to pitch side for a match, you've got physio with you, you've got all the equipment we need. It's just amazing. If there's any issues, any troubles at all, you're seen to straight away. It's just, I couldn't ask for more. It's been brilliant.
And ultimately, the sports psychologists are the big move for this year. And I know members of my squad have been utilising them, going and seeing them. 4 days in the heat, away from home, at the extent of your ability to test everybody, and everybody sort of reaches that point of near break, and the ability to go there and have a look and come back is what everybody wants. And we've got the support from the sports psychologist to do that, so it's been huge for our performance really. But also support for us. It can be a pretty lonely place as a coach, and you often don't have anyone to turn to, and just a little bit of help, a little bit of advice, a little bit of guidance on how to keep the squad at their best is really, really appreciated.
My biggest accomplishment for this World Cup campaign is the staff that I have chosen. So they've been interviewed, they've worked with us for a number of years now. They have all stepped up, they work so hard, they're passionate about what they do, they're passionate about making sure that the athletes get what they need, and they allow me just to do my job so easily. I have every faith in every single person that sits on my medical team.
So here we go then, the opening match of the second day here in Maidenhead, the European Touch Club Championships 2019. And we are into the business end of the competition. Our first match for you this morning in the plate competition. The team from France, Hurricanes in blue, taking on Buffaloes from Scotland in blue and pink. And we are just about ready to get underway. We had a cracking day here yesterday, 14 fantastic group games, and we've got 14 more games for you to come again. So same format as yesterday, 12-minute halves. We'll be rattling through the games, plenty to get your teeth stuck into throughout the day. Hurricanes taking on Buffaloes, and then we'll have Hot Custard taking on Donnybrook. That'll be coming up next. Hurricanes highly regarded as one of the finest teams around Europe, and then Buffaloes, well, we had Gibson up in the commentary box yesterday from Buffaloes, giving his insight and thoughts on how the Buffaloes have progressed over the years. They've had success in the Scottish touch leagues, and they are equally as excited as all these other teams who have come together here in Maidenhead to play against the very best. We just have a short hold up at the moment, just waiting for this infamous hooter to go off, and we can get the second day here underway. So my name is Bradley Hope, and I'll be guiding you through the action throughout the day. Chris Wearmouth will be joining me for the opening game of the day. It's a slightly overcast day, a bit cooler than it was yesterday, which I'm sure the players will be delighted about. It's a tough and grueling and intense day. So we're only moments away from the start of our opening game. Chris, of course, we had a brilliant day yesterday, but this is the real nitty-gritty stuff, isn't it? This is where it all gets very tense, very exciting, and we'll have those three finals later on today, of course.
Yeah, and there was a fantastic bit of heightened tension while everybody's waiting for the hooter at the start. And Hurricanes, we saw them attack BBR in particular in the opening game yesterday. Very impressively. There was lots of pace coming through the middle, putting the opposition on the back foot, and and it was a close run thing between them, Hot Custard, and BBR for who was going to finish in the top two spots and to go into the cup. Hurricanes lost out, so this is why they're in the plate competition this morning, and up against Buffaloes, and we saw some good stuff from them yesterday as well. So I'm fully expecting this to be a really competitive match, as I was saying to Greg in the preamble. This today, all the teams are tiered into their based on how they finished in their pools yesterday. So we can expect some really close run matches over the next few hours.
And this one is set up to be an absolute belter as Buffaloes come forward. Here's Lewis Burns. He had another good day for the Buffaloes yesterday. Always seems to turn on the heats. And over the halfway line they come, crossing the 10-metre line. Pisani now, he's a bit of a live wire in the middle of this Hurricanes team, looking for options. Can they finish it off? Oh, the diving touch comes in. And there we go, our first score of the morning. The dramatic diving touch just couldn't get there in time, and it was Pierre Ramondi who came in and finished the job off.
Yeah, it's a great finish, but Cyril Pisani's the person who makes the difference with that, because the defender's done everything right to get onto the side where the ball is, but he's managed, with that lovely windmill motion, he's got the ball away from the contact and down, so it hasn't slowed up their momentum. We saw yesterday that momentum and the pace and maintaining that was absolutely crucial for teams to put others under pressure, and by doing that, all of a sudden Hurricanes are able to keep that pressure up on the Buffaloes in the midfield, and yeah, there's the highlight reel is the diving finish, but that was the key moment for me.
And here come Hurricanes looking to try and get a second on the ball quickly. Pisani driving forward, and as Chris Riley mentioned, he is a key player in this Hurricane side. But here come Buffaloes. Stuart Gibson was in the commentary box for one of our games yesterday. He was excited for the second day and getting amongst it here in Maidenhead, and switching over to that far side to get some fresh legs on, and here they come over the halfway line. Here is Stuart Gibson laying it off, and over the 10-metre mark they go. Nice quick handling, driving forward. Can they finish it off? Are they going to look out wide on? Maybe just a lack of communication there at the final few moments, just letting them down. Callum Shreehan was there, driving his team on. And here come Hurricanes then. What can they build on from the start? Might just take him a couple of minutes for both sides just to really settle in, although Hurricanes look in fine form this morning. Pisani there, driving again.
Yeah, normally on day 2 with the domestic tournaments we go straight into knockout action, and I think the good thing is today for both of these teams is that the only result that they've carried forward is they go again, and I think that's a mistake there from the Hurricanes, dotting it down on the normal rugby pitch 22 as opposed to the try line, which is about 7 metres further on. So I think, you know, it is first thing on a Sunday morning, so they can be forgiven for that. But, you know, normally we'd see, as I said before, a knockout situation, whereas here the only game that the result that gets carried forward is the game against the team that you played yesterday. Otherwise, it's a round robin. So while everything's going to be competitive, it is very, you know, if either team loses today, it's not the be all and end all. They can still come back and get into the placing stages later.
Lewis Burns and Stuart Burns, the father and son combination on the field for Buffaloes at the moment. Stuart in the number 30 shirt. Here's Lewis Burns on the ball at the moment. He gets it back, looking for that goal line, going back inside, and just died on it. It was looking to try and get back in and force their way over the line. It was Scott Robson, Scotland under-18s, represented a couple of years ago. And here's Lewis Burns trying to weave his way through again. This is good pressure from Buffaloes. The first time we've really seen a sustained spell from the Scotland team. Back inside, and that was really nicely well worked. Burns and Robson linking up well, and the Buffaloes are back to all square.
Yeah, so Cyril's just come up on here, and what's then happened is that he's made, so in touch, when you make the touch and you start going back in a particular direction, you have to keep going in that direction. So what he did is he made the touch, and he called what's called cornering. So he's made the touch with one hand and then started to go back at an angle, and then the other Hurricanes player's gone back in a straight line, and all of a sudden you've then got a gap that you could drive a bus through. So it's I'm not going to say it's a common mistake, but it's an uncharacteristic one given how well they attacked earlier on.
And Hurricanes looking to try and respond straight away. Chris, you mentioned they were first up actually yesterday against BBR and ran them very close. BBR, one of the favourites for the competition. Just a lack of communication there, and that opportunity goes begging. Hugo Barret, the Frenchman open player, the number 9, just sees the ball go past him. Here's Stuart Gibson. Nice bit of good yardage made up, a bit of a spring in his step, and driving over to that far side. Some fresh legs coming on, and here they do come. Over the halfway line they go. Lovely, quick, decisive passing over the 10-metre marks. This is nice from the Buffaloes, just getting into their stride now with a bit of momentum now in their step. Back inside, good defensive covering from Hurricanes, and that's a turnover. So good work from both sides, defensively for Hurricanes and attacking-wise for Buffaloes, just showing a bit more intensity now, the Buffaloes.
People watching at home, if they're either new to touch rugby or if they've been playing socially at an O2 centre or just playing some park footy, as they call it in Australia, is the thing to see how both teams, when they're attacking at pace, don't roll the ball. It's called a roll ball, but they don't. You place the ball and you step over it and get out of the way, and it's giving the half, who's the player coming in, a solid target to go at, to either scoop or to get the ball quickly off the deck. They don't have to wait for the ball to stop. They can just go. It's a straight target, and they can attack it. Just one thing about BBR yesterday, and them being the favourites, that game against Hurricanes showed just why. Not only because they've got the quality to break them down, but also the character to keep going until the hooter, because the score that won it was on the hooter. So they didn't panic. They stayed, they're all very competitive, but they don't lose it. on the sidelines, and they just keep on going, and that's one of their game against Roosters in an hour is going to be very, very intriguing.
Yes, that'll be coming up in an hour's time, as you said, in the Cup competition. Six-pack Roosters against BBR. That is definitely a game worth to stick around for. And here come Hurricanes now over the halfway line. We've got a good game on our hands in our opening match of the second day here, and Hugo Beret trying to skip his way past. Now here's Christian Sheem. Bit of space to work into. This Buffalo's defence is keeping disciplined, looking to try and go for the line. Can they work some space out wide? It just dies in front of it. It was a good opportunity, although Buffalo's defence just standing strong. It was Valentin Francois just on this near side. And turnover possession now. What a chance this is for the French side, just on the edge of the 5 metre mark.
What we've seen with the Hurricanes, we saw it all day yesterday as well, is that how quickly they get the ball into the middle of the park to be able to give them options going left and right. And again, touch is as much a game about variations of speed as opposed to just putting the hammer down. And this is what we're seeing at the minute. So they're bringing on some fresh players, people who are who've got specific skill sets for this particular area. And we'll no doubt find out more about the Mexican standoff later in the day as one of our videos, which is kind of what that is when you've got the guys straight off in front and you're trying to maneuver them about to try to create some space. And the Hurricanes are doing that with a combination of switches, long passes, just trying to pull Buffalo's left and right, and that's done the job nicely.
It certainly has, and the Hurricanes now back in front. Naomi Perez, the second year as a touch player, actually representing Hurricanes today, and that was patient and incisive build-up, and it was all came from Pisani as well. He's just such a key player in this side, isn't he? He seems to be behind everything that's good for Hurricanes.
Yeah, his they didn't do anything particularly complicated. Buffaloes would have known that there was going to be a quick play, or that there was going to be emanating in the middle there, because he was pointing exactly where he wanted the supporting player to be. But there's a thing about knowing what's coming and trying to defend it when it's happening at a pace like that, and we'll see that increasingly as over the course of the day.
Armstrong now with Gibson linking up in the middle. Gibson with the cap on just on the ball now. Almost just got himself a bit dog-knotted as he looked to try and go left and right, and he fell to the full. Armstrong looking to go out wide, space opening up. It was Layla Hassan couldn't claim it as it just spilled in front of her, but although that Hurricanes defence covered very well. This is good pressure now from Buffaloes, keeping a high defensive line, trying to keep the Hurricanes in their own half and try and restrict as many of their touches in their own half. But Hurricanes trying to eat up the yards now. Flicked pass from Pisani back into the middle to Hugo Beret. He's making that argument, that diving touch from Gibson. He claims the touch, and now has to be brought back. Oh, and this is the referee's just turning over possession, and what a chance this is for Buffaloes of a minute to go. Stuart Gibson making that argument to that far side, faking to go right, but still keeps possession of the ball. And waiting for the support to come. Angus Lawson now.
Yeah, that was all created by that defensive set, as you're saying, Brad, coming from Buffaloes. Is that was the fourth touch for Hurricanes, and they'd still only just crossed their 10-metre line. And that's, if you've got a high line, you try and push it. We will see later on, especially teams like here in England, London Eagles they work really, really hard on their momentum, getting past the sub box and giving targets for the players who are coming on to attack. And in terms of shutting that down, that was exactly what they needed to do as far as the Buffaloes were concerned. They did get away with one in terms of a little bit of a miscontrol, but I think it's a bit of justice there that Hurricanes have got this and can now clear.
So only a couple of seconds away from that hooter. Can Hurricanes work their way up the field? Can they maybe just create one final opportunity? No, they can't.
Yeah, the game's just lost its shape, and that's the half-time hooter, and the game's just lost its shape in the last couple of minutes, which is a shame just after such a fantastic opening 11 and a half, that in that last 30 seconds or so, the teams are just starting to lose their cool a little bit. I think it's getting a little bit frantic, a little bit frenetic, and a little bit fractious as well. And both of these teams are going to need to iron that out pronto if they're going to go on and get the win later.
Well, the break, I think, has come at the right time for both sides, and this is the half-time but opening game of day 2 here in Maidenhead, and it's the Hurricanes who lead by 2 points to 1 over the Buffalo. Second half will be coming up in a couple of moments' time.
So the touch is the equivalent of a tackle in rugby union or rugby league. In touch, we get 6 of them to try and score a touchdown. Scoring a touchdown, you have those 6 touches, and the defence are trying to make all 6 to prevent you from scoring. You can also touch clothing, boots, legs, wherever in order to create that touch. You can have such thing as a hard tackle or a hard touch, which is where you put too much force into the touch. A heavy touch can be made by the attacker or the defender as well. The attacker putting too much force on the initiated touch, or the defender putting too much force into the push of the touch. An attacker can either initiate the touch to stop the defence from making it, or the defence can make the touch themselves. The attacker can make the touch to make a better roll ball and to keep the momentum in the attack.
So welcome back to Maidenhead, the European Touch Club Championships 2019, and we are underway in day 2. And we're just seeing the Hurricanes in their huddle as we await for them to get back onto the pitch. They currently lead by 2 points to 1 at the break, and we were just saying that in that final few moments of that first half, both sides, just errors were just creeping in. They were just slightly losing their edge. What do you think both sides would have said at the break, Chris?
Chill out. Simple as that, really. They've shown in that first half that they've both got the ability to break the opposition down when they keep their heads focused on the right thing. The second that you let yourself get dragged into, some petty, some under the skin, some niggle, that's the point where not just the shape of the game breaks down, but your own performance breaks down. You're not going to get the scores, and certainly, you need to chill out.
So Buffaloes will have a tap off in the second half. Stuart Burns now coming forward of Robeson now, the number 4, in a very jazzy pink shorts for Robeson today. Here's Lewis Burns now looking to go for the line. Just a bit of consultation with the referee on a fantastic touch on the line. Lewis Burns got down really low, diving in from the line early, and it was Christian Sheem there, the yellow boots on, getting in that touch.
Great positioning from Kathy van der Eek, the on-field referee, there in the perfect position to be able to see whether that touch was, so the players can't argue when the person making the decision is right in front of you and you look up. That's better from Buffaloes in terms of the attack there. When you send those wide passes out like that, you want to be making them on the goal line. You don't want to be making them 5 or 6 meters short, because then if it gets caught, more likely to be, it just increases your percentage of scoring, as opposed to giving time, that fraction of that 2 or 3 more seconds to catch the ball and to go those 5 meters, gives the defence time to scramble. So just a pity there for Buffaloes that Lalia Hassan wasn't able to finish that off.
Yeah, she's had a couple of opportunities, although the defence from Hurricanes has stood strong so far. And a minute and a half gone, and this is their chance now to try and mount something from their own line, and looking to try and drive forward. Some good yards made up early doors, and still in their own half, and trying to edge their way towards the halfway line. Hugo Bray with a wayward, just short pass. Well, it was picked up. Here's Cyril Pisani now driving his team on. Over the 10-metre mark they go. This is nice. Momentum building up for the Hurricanes. Can they finish it off? It looks like they can, and that was a well-worked score straight from their own half, from one end of the pitch to the other, and smiles all around. That was superb play, really good interchange, and they used the ball well and suckered in that Buffaloes defence in the middle, and the space just opening up out on that right-hand side. Pisani let that ball go out late from the pass, and it just opened up that gate on that far side.
So Pisani hits on Scott Robson there, and that's the thing that makes the that's the thing that's made the difference on that. He can't make the touch because he's offside. He also has to go back in a straight line. So Bazzani stays right in front of him, then takes a step off his left foot. That then draws in his opposite. That then makes the link have to step in to try and make the touch. And then after that, you've got a 3-on-2 going wide, and then just simple hands and good keeping the head on. And they're over for the score. So that's a really lovely worked score, both from a touch specific, but also in terms of a general all-round rugby, to what you want to see in any kind of code of rugby.
So here, a chance for Buffaloes. Here's Harper, Gibson now in the middle. Oh, just a lack of concept. It looked a tad rushed there from the Buffaloes. They weren't too sure whether they even had possession, and they just now have to reorganise themselves. They are 2 points down, and they need the next score, you feel like. And here come the Hurricanes trying to drive themselves over the halfway line. Nice initial work. Here's Christian Sheem spreading it from Hugo Beret straight over to that far side. And a good lung-bursting run from Ogiano. And now back into Christian Sheem over the 10-metre mark. They go, look at this momentum building, this turn and speed, and Christian Sheem is going through. Does the touch just come in time? Oh, he does. A fantastic diving touch, and Christian Sheem saw the gates open, and then the ball spread out wide. It's just died in front of her, but what a fantastic touch that was. Christian Sheem looked like he was away, and it was going to be 4 points.
That's a really, really, really that was a crucial touch, as you say. Really great awareness from Sheem there to realise that he was anticipating the touch, so was in the process of placing the ball, kept it completely under control and carried on. You can see because you're not allowed to play the ball without having been touched. We see Buffaloes just heading over down for the score. You know what? Less showboating. That's a try. I think Buffaloes need to keep their head on. They're letting themselves they're trying to make this an emotional thing, as opposed to just a straight up touch. And trying to get in the faces of Hurricanes, but if it had just not looked, just gone, there's no support, they'd have scored that.
Well, he was clean through. It was Paddy Armstrong, the number 1 for Buffaloes, and there was just a bit of afters as well as the touch came in, and it's just getting a little bit heated out there, a bit fiery in this opening game as the ball spread out long, but again it just dies in front of Hassan, and an opportunity goes begging. But I think you're right there, Chris. I think if he just kept the afterburners on, he would have gone through, and it would have been 3-2, and it would have been an intriguing final 6.5 minutes.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things where there was the yin and the yang from the young man there. I mean, he's still only in his teens. He represented Scotland at junior level last year, and is heading over to Junior Touch Championships in Paris. So actually, that makes him still only under 18s, 18 at the eldest, to be playing in Paris in a week's time. Is that he made the defensive touch and showed great speed off the mark to shut down Christian Sheem at the other end, but then showed exactly the same pace, but that little, as I say, that little, it was almost what you don't want to see. Just go ahead, make the score, celebrate it. Don't try and showboat on the way through, because otherwise, if you come up against a team that's got fast defenders, as happened with the Hurricanes there, they're going to catch you.
So entering into the final 6 minutes then, what can the Buffaloes do? They definitely need the next score now as they're looking to push on forward. Awesome heavy touches coming in. Lewis Burns passes to his dad Stuart and looking to weave his way through. Here's Lewis Burns. They need something from him. Robeson and Burns now mixing it up in the middle. Can they try and work something on Robeson? Looking to get in with that, almost a swan dive, getting in to try and catch the ball before it lands. And it was a fine effort from Lewis Burns to try and find his teammate, but it just didn't come off. And now the father and son combination just hunt down Hugo Beret in the middle. Bazzani now over the halfway line, weaving to his left. Back into the middle. Here is Hugo Beret with Christian Sheem to the left of him. Sheem does have it now. This is nice work from Christian Sheem. And Hugo Beret. Oh, and a chance out wide, and it's finished off. Valentine Francois, the third year as a touch player, finishes it off. Hugo Beret, the Frenchman opens player, with that pass out wide. And Hurricanes now lead by 4 points to 1. And that potentially could be game, set and match.
I think the game in this second half is who's kept their head. And I think while we've seen Buffaloes get themselves into really good positions, we've seen Hurricanes stay concentrated on the task at hand, and that's creating space and then finishing it off. And we've seen them go through two things. We've seen them go through the middle and capitalise, but also to create that space out wide. And they're really asking lots of questions of the Buffaloes' defence.
Well,
and you can see the fractious nature from the first half carried on in the second half.
It was Paddy Armstrong who should have scored earlier on. He now gets himself on the score sheet, and just a bit of afters there with Stuart Gibson. And Buffaloes just need to calm things down. 3 minutes to go. They've still got a chance now to try and get back to all square. Pisani now in the middle, looking for options left and right. Oh, well, looks like the touch just came in on the line. A vital and critical touch it was as well. Here comes Pisani looking to go out wide again. Oh, lovely work on the wing.
No, they're coming back for a penalty. There's a penalty given in midfield for a heavy touch. So you can see there's a good bit of chat from Kathy van der Eet to the defenders. So not a scored, but Hurricanes are in exactly the right place.
Quick one to Pisani, looking to try and weave his way through. Does he get in? He does. And that potentially could just kill off this game with 2 minutes remaining. And it's that man again, Cyril Pisani, the Frenchman open player, 2 times Euro bronze medalist as well. And he's pulled off another little bit of masterstroke, a bit of magic. And the Hurricanes are well on their way to victory.
I think they've got away with one there. That's one where if you go to the TMO, you need a super zoom on that one, because I think that is short. But there's a good dive and good awareness from Pisani in the middle, but I think Buffaloes will feel rightly aggrieved at that one, because coming into the final round of round robin matches in a few hours time, could be that points difference and try difference will be crucial in deciding who goes through to the final, and hopefully for them that's the 3 touchdown difference so far is not going to be too important, but they can feel, as I say, they can feel rightly aggrieved at that. But it was a great finish by them. I mean, in some respects, they've only got themselves to blame, because the defence in the middle was far too static on that. Instead of seeing that Pisani's, instead of recognising that he's got that ability and shutting it down and forcing him to go round, all of a sudden it's a case of a bit of dawdling, and all of a sudden there's the space, go and finish it. And that's exactly what he did in terms of the dive.
And here come Hurricanes once again. Can they finish off in style? No, they can't. Buffaloes now with 40 seconds remaining. Can they just reduce this deficit? Like you say, Chris, it could come all the way down to points difference, and that's another error, and some frustration and more errors are just creeping in to this Buffalo side. They really do need to keep their cool for the rest of the games. Every point could matter so much. Under 20 seconds then remaining. Can the Hurricanes themselves try and add another one and increase their points difference? Looking to go left, although just creeping forward, and good yards made up. Can they try and exploit some space here? Pisani looking to go right as the hooter comes in. And just a final touch, and there's some liberation with the referee. And it is a victory in the end for Hurricanes by 5 points to 2. It was a heated and intense affair between the two sides. Handshakes from both sides. But we all now move on to our next game, Hot Custard against Donnybrook. But in terms of the Buffaloes coming back from that, they seem to, just like you said, lose their cool. And what should they be looking at now going into the next game?
They really need to go find a quiet corner somewhere, not talk, do a bit of stretching, maybe get a hot chocolate, some marshmallows, something that's just going to calm them down a little bit. And because they've shown plenty of talent and ability in that. What they lost was the top 2 inches, and that was crucial as far as they were concerned with that. Pizzani was the man for Hurricanes, and he played very, very well. But it was more importantly was how they managed, how the team from Paris managed to keep their cool all the way through. And but as I say, Buffaloes have got a lot to build on, and when we see them later on at 10 o'clock against Touch Berlin, it'll be interesting to see how they've developed in the couple of hours and what they have been saying and what they will say in their groups between now and then.
So we'll now move on to our second game of the day, which will be coming up in a couple of moments' time. It'll be Hot Custard taking on Donnybrook. That's next here at the European Touch Club Championships 2019.
Get a stop!
So here we go, back underway. No messing about. These games come quick and fast. And we are underway with Donnybrook of Ireland taking on Hot Custard from England. And Donnybrook looking to get off to the perfect start. They had a fantastic day here yesterday in Maidenhead, one of the teams to watch. Lots of skill, lots of pace, and I'm sure they wanted to do just the same. John Ennis in the thick of things once again. He was up in the comms box earlier as Donnybrook looked to get off to the perfect start, and it looks like they have. The Irish side go one up inside the opening minute. And let's have another look at this one on the replay. John Ennis in the thick of things once again, and just going in with the line. And Donnybrook off to a flyer. It was James O'Donnell, 29 Irish men's open caps for Donnybrook going over the line. And what a start to what is expected to be a fascinating affair between these two sides. Hot Custard had a fantastic final weekend in the Belief Elite National Touch Series, reaching the Elite Cup final against Nottingham Hoods. And now looking to try and respond away. Chris Arnold looking to go out wide. Here's Jones going for the line. Brilliant touch just to nullify that attack. Jones looking to go out wide, although there's covering Donnybrook's defence, doing well.
Nice, Arnie, go again, look long.
Ball spread towards Chris Arnold. Now Angel Auld gets it back to Jones. Jones skipping to his right and looking for an angle. But look at this, covering Donnybrook's defence, sliding from right to left, covering the ground up really well so far. Here's Jones over the 5 metre mark to go, gets it back from Chris Arnold. Angel Auld, and Arnold looks to go long. Oh, a fantastic take, but an equally brilliant touch just on the line. And it's Donnybrook's defence have stood up to the task so far. Let's see what they can do now attacking wise from their own half. Really good work, and look at the intensity and direct from the start Phelan was involved there. Over the halfway line they come. Ben O'Connell now. And that's the 6th and final touch, just losing maybe count there, and ball just flicked back towards Hot Custard as they were trying to get the ball, and just a bit of unsportsmanship was seen to be deemed by Hot Custard. So we're underway, so we're deep into this first half. Hot Custard taking on Donnybrook, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Hurricanes skipper Hugo Berrier, the French Men Open's 2 times Euro bronze medalist as well. Hugo, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And congratulations on the opening win this morning.
Yeah.
It was a very
fiery
affair.
One, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And
some tensions on the field. But we know this boy is really good, so we know every time it's going to be tough. And we need to have the win at the end.
And how much have you enjoyed the weekend? A good day yesterday, of course, as well?
Yeah, awesome. We'd have a couple of more wins against, especially the English teams, but you got pretty tough there. But we have sometimes. Oh, nice one.
Lovely play. Chris Arnold looking out wide, and that was absolutely superb play from Hot Custard. Finished off by Katrina Weir, nicknamed Wine Hands, the winger, and she picked that out.
Really nice.
Really
it's a nice
nicely.
scoop, sweeping around, and it's done then. Good lecture by the middle to the links and to the winger. That's awesome try. Like the Hot Custard, know how to play. Really, really tough to play against these guys. It's like, whoa, going fast.
And here come Donnybrook now on that far side, looking to try and weave it back into the middle. Can they respond straight away? Here's Ben O'Connell now in the middle, just slowing things down. O'Connell looks to his left and finds Sean Balance. Balance looking to go for the line, back inside. This is lovely, intricate play from Donnybrook. And they have another opportunity now on the 5-metre line. Can they work an angle, spreading it
Nice
from left
one.
to right?
Too bad.
So in terms of yourselves coming over from France, what's it been like playing all these different sides around Europe? It must be really interesting to see how different sides in England, and of course we've got teams from the Netherlands and Germany. Must be seeing different
What
sides.
surprised me the most, I don't know if I had to be surprised, like it's like the European Touch Championship, like you have all the best teams in Europe. It's like how homogeneous like the level is. I was not expecting from some like not minor countries, but you have some countries here, Netherlands, Spain, not use as much as England or France or Ireland to have some rugby players. But then you come into touch, and every team is like playing actual touch, actual. It's not like people trying to play rugby like sweeping in one. In a sense, like everything is like built. You see that people work for this camp, and it's just lovely to see that Europe is progressing so fast compared to like other nations. A lot of the guys on the field right now, some of them play the World Cup in April or in May, and we also how fast the game is progressing, and it's just like an example today of where we came in Europe in terms of a level of touch. It's really awesome.
And Hot Custard now working their way back in front. It was Shane Scott. He's a fantastic player, isn't he, Shane Scott? He's
really fast. The guy speaks really good French, so it's always good to play against him on the field. You can chat with him in French, like at least the referees can't understand what we're saying into his ears. So lovely. I love to play against him.
And Hugo, just tell us a bit more about Hurricanes. We've covered a lot of the English Champion Touch Series here, obviously, and just tell us a bit about Hurricanes and how they were formed and their development over the last couple of years.
The club was like built in 2005 by some rugby players, like most of the club touch club, and We had like some of up and downs, and like some 3 years ago, some players started to come into the club and develop really fast. We like ended up second in at the nationals 3 times in a row. Always losing against the same team, but starting to become one of the major club in France. This year we ended up 3rd, but same as in Europe, because like the whole level is like progressing so fast. We saw like some amazing team coming in or coming back, like Free Touch. I have to say hello to the guy, we call them the Friendlies, because we're coming from Paris and they are the club next door and we love to play against them, but we hate them on the field, so cheers to these guys. And we want to keep like progressing. We try to have the same, more and more the same players coming every year, building a strong basis and having, like any club, like some people coming from outside and bringing into the game what they have, what they want. Keeping, and the last thing I think about their club is like, we want to be competitive, but not without too much stress. Also, we love to be like, at least if we don't win on the field, we win at the after party. That's the thing we want to do at the end. And so far, I think we're doing pretty good. So we try to keep it like keep a fresh mind and be as competitive as possible on the field. Oh, nice one. Oh yeah. Look at how fast the ball is going to the ground. Like, you see a lot of girls today like really being up to the game and being able like to play as fast as the boys. Just look at that. Fast on the ground. Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely. Kendall Fry for Hot Custard. And an interesting story actually we found out about Kendall Fry. It was she came over from Queensland after losing a bet and moved over to England and now is playing for Hot Custard. And she gets herself on the score sheet and they lead by 3 points to 1. It's some bet to lose. Moving across the world. And what can Donnybrook do now? They showed glimpses of brilliance yesterday. They looked a fantastic side, and at the moment Hot Custard are holding on strong as they look to go for the line. Dive.
Oh, that was close. From there I might have awarded it, but I think the ref is closer to me than me, so maybe a good decision.
Strong balance, 19 caps for the Island's men open side, and they're looking to try and get over the line. The next score could be absolutely crucial. We've talked to a lot of players who said this period just before half time is so vital, isn't it?
That's starting to be the first maybe morning time of the game. Is like no one's want to be scored out just before halftime, because it's always hard to get into the box and go back on the field where you're cracked at the last minute before. You want to go into the box with a fresh head, like we are like controlling the game, and of course taking one more try just before that is not always a good idea. But you know, like such team as Hot Custard and Donnybrook, they're used to this kind of game, so even being scored at before halftime, they know how to find the proper words in the box to get back on the field and be as strong as they can. So no worries about these guys.
So just over 30 seconds remaining until half-time. Hot Custard, can they hold out and remain that 2-point advantage? It'll be huge for Hot Custard if they can. Phelan, though, involved. Let's see if he can drive his side on. Mark Phelan, the club skipper for Donnybrook. And just slowing things down, there's John Ennis.
Yeah, come on, Johnny boy.
Almost just
nice
waiting to pounce, and here comes Donnybrook. Can they finish it off?
Oh, things down. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Being scored out just before halftime, it's happening. Would be nice to see how Hot Custard is going to react. Getting back, yeah, that's going for a scoop and finally the long ball to the other middle. No need to dive. I might have dived on that one just to be sure, but the guy felt comfortable and was sure about his move. Really nicely done by Donnybrook.
Well, let's see how crucial that could be going into the second half. They've managed just to get a score in on the hooter, and that gap is only reduced to 1. So we'll be back for the second half very shortly. Hot Custard taking on Donnybrook Touch. Hot Custard leading by 3 points to 2.
Roll ball is the equivalent of a ruck in rugby union or a roll ball in rugby league. What we're looking for is a clear plant of the ball, No rolling of the ball physically, despite it being called a roll ball, and we're looking for the clean ball for the half to come in and either scoop or pass the ball off the deck. So a roll ball is done by putting one part of the body over the ball. So there's two ways you can make a roll ball. You can either plant the ball and run through, as in over the top of the ball, or you can plant the ball and swing your foot around the front of it, which is called a quickie, to step to one side or the other faster than having to step all the way over the ball. So the roll ball has to be done where you are touched or initiate the touch. It also has to be placed between the legs, not to one side or the other, so that the ref can clearly see that you've either stepped over the ball or you've swung your foot around the front of it. In the roll ball, the hips of the person putting the ball down have to be square. By that they mean they have to be parallel to the pitch, not facing one side or the other.
So back underway in the second half, and Hot Custard only leading by that point. And how crucial this first initial attacking phase could be for Hot Custard if they can reply straight away.
It's going to be like the wingers come and look at that player, going right. They do it every time. It's working every time. Really hard to defend because, you know, the thing is like the middle, look at it. Going inside the player, going wide, and but he's going really wide. Usually the players, this one with the cap, is not going wide and trying to go in between the link and the winger. He's going back inside, and you have the sweeper. That time they decided to go wide to like prevent the shot from the winger, and that's the worst position ever for a winger. Do I shot or not? You shot, they're going to go wide to the winger. You don't shot the link. Oh, that's done. Wow, that was going really, really fast from number 4.
James O'Donnell, look at that, just almost lightning in his boots.
Yeah, like that. Oh, little steps. Oh, nice. Second, that guy doesn't need to dive. Just going into the end of the field, putting the ball down, and that's a try.
So we're back to where we started only a minute and a half ago. So Hot Custard leading by 4 points to 3 in what is proving to be a very tight affair. Could we be going right down to the wire in our second game? This is in the cup competition. Let's see what they can do.
They might probably do the same move, like they're positioning the same way. Oh, hesitating a little bit. Okay, switching. Nice long ball.
Scots
quite short.
Just dying in front of it was Katrina Weir.
Yeah, he was finding the gap. That was a nice choice. And have to get a little bit longer on that one. I mean, I'm quite surprised. He's used to that in the Englishman mixed open. So next one I think is going to be good. Oh, that's a nice short touch.
Over the halfway line they go. Lovely momentum and speed to this attack. Here's Mark Feeling. Gets it in from
nice.
John Ennis. What can he do? Looks to go out wide. Some space potentially opening up. A lot of work to do though.
Oh, good coming back in defence. That's 6.
It was Shane Scott who was there to cover and shut out that defence. And we remain at 4 points to 3.
6 more, yeah, offside.
And Hugo, you were just talking a bit off air about sort of the progression of French touch rugby in general. Where do you see it going next in terms of is it progressing, and what's next for the French national side and French touch rugby in general?
That's actually a really, really important question. We have a lot of discussion in France right now about what has been achieved so far. We progressed really, really far in the last years. Like, just between the 2 World Cups, you can see how the French national teams developed, and not just national teams, the global level developed. It's like we made like giant steps, but now you're coming into, now that you've done the giant steps, you're coming into the more difficult parts of what's next. It's like getting the small details done, and we have, nice dive.
It was Jake Hogan going in for the line, and that
big kick.
he was happy with that one. Look at the smile on his face, and he's
the dive was awesome, like.
It was. He gets down low for a
but
big guy.
Managed like to have some like nice one. And so I was saying like, nah, you've done the giant steps, you have to do the baby steps, and that's the more difficult parts of that game. And we are now thinking in France about what can be done with the means we have now in France. And I'll be speaking for the French Men Open, because that's the team I'm in. I don't know about the other team yet, but we feel like maybe we reached not a dead end, but a point where we might have to go abroad to find some more solutions to keep progressing. And the other thing is like, all of the players need to work really hard on their individual technique, because you can see at the international level, the best team, they are finding the gaps. They are finding, not just because they are fast. You're coming into the World Cup, everyone is going fast. Going fast is not enough. Everyone is fit. You need like to work on your pass. You need to work on the way you take your touches. Everything has to be perfect so that you find the gap. Nice one again.
And Hot Custard really trying to extend this lead now. Matt Skivevich, the former coach of the Scotland Mixed Open, the number 9, just going in over the scoreline. And
that was really clever. That's something many teams forget to do, is like play a second phase into their move. Most of the, basically everyone is playing with the same move today in the World Touch. The best teams manage like to act, when they don't find a solution on the first intention, they do second phase and go for like, you always have touches. Nice one again. That's depth from that guy. Every time it's working. I love it.
Well, at the moment it is end-to-end stuff, and Donnybrook just not letting this one go, are they? 2-point gap is now back on, and they just need to hold out this attacking phase from Hot Custard and get the ball back and try and get down the other end once again. 6 minutes remaining, still all to play for.
Look, same one is coming in. He's going wide. Change. Second phase. Too bad.
Now this is the opportunity. Is it for Donnybrook, or just
might be a penalty? Yeah.
Looks like it is. Yeah, it's so another opportunity here for Hot Custard. Can they try and restore that 3-point advantage? Donnybrook need to defend this well. You can almost sense a bit of anticipation and urgency now in the defence for Donnybrook, as they know they want to try and keep this one out.
Nice dive.
And Alice Somerville goes over the line. The Ford Fiesta of touch.
Every time, same move, just changing. Now going short, second phase. Everyone keeps into the game until the ball is down. That's a really important thing in touch. You can't stop playing until there's 2 cases when you can't stop playing. The refs say, okay, over 6, or you scored. That's what I tell my player every time. You have to be involved until the end. Don't stop playing until you've done your job to the end.
And now Donnybrook, can they reply straight away? Mark Phelan jinking in left and right, a bit dancing feet. The number 18.
They're keeping.
Needs something from the skipper now, back inside, maybe some space opening up out wide, but this Hot Custard defence is standing very strong. Here's Phelan again.
Keep playing, maybe a dive now. They can drop the ball, yeah.
And in terms of recruitment for your side, Hugo, you finding, is it mainly just the French people from France coming into your side? Are you getting players coming from maybe England who are coming over to France and wanting to play, or around other parts of Europe?
At the start of the club, we had a lot of Kiwis play for the Hurricanes. At the time, we have to give back to Caesar what's going to Caesar. It's like, it was called Courant d'Air. It's a French name for like gust of wind, something like that. And the thing was, with that name, it was kind of the old school, and we decided a couple of years ago to like rename the club. But we kept before the name the CDR, which referred to Courant d'Air. And at that time, we had a couple of Kiwis playing for them. We still have one, like Tara, who's playing for the French national senior mixed team now, for a couple of years. And she was like a really important part of the team. We had a player now getting back in Australia called Kit Martin. She's back playing for Victoria now. She played in the NTL last year. And it was a big of a loss last year. She played nationals as a middle, which is quite unique in France. You don't have that many girls playing middle, but she did a great job. And we have Australians, not that much English players. We had a couple of one, but they tend to stay in England, or when they come to France, they prefer to party. So we don't see many of them. But we had a couple of international players, some Germans maybe coming sometimes. But yeah, the base of the club is mostly French people coming. And you have two cases, people coming in, hearing about that you can play for the national teams. They want to be part of that, they want to progress, and they know that our club can give it that and bring them to that level. And you have people they want to do run one training a week just to keep fit. And the club offers both, of the best. So we try to keep it like that, but mostly French players.
So as we reach 2 minutes to go, then Hot Custard well on their way, and they've put in another solid performance. Hot Custard, you're never quite sure what you're going to get from this side, but they are proving every bit of their worth so far, and this is again another nice bit of momentum building up. Angus Goff, Shane Scott looking to get it out wide. Oh,
I think it might be forward. Yeah,
it looked forward, but anyhow, it was dropped in front of Letskovic.
They told you that time he found the winger.
And here come Donnybrook. Is just the mistake inside.
Might be a costly mistake, yeah.
And a minute to go, and it looks like it's Hot Custard well on the way to victory this morning here on pitch one. Can they add another one to increase that points difference? Every point could be so crucial today.
That's the thing about Hot Custard. You can't lose ball against this guy. Every time you get the ball, you need to go at least to your 6 or scoring. You can't give them extra or bonus. Oh, that's nice. So that was short, but that was good inspiration by the middle, finding the gap, going through. You can see it's not going as fast as the beginning of the game. Maybe the legs beginning second day, 5 games yesterday. People other players are starting to get tired a little bit. That's the end of the game. That might be, I think, especially for the cup players today, one of the things that would be at stake is getting back to recover between the games as fast and as good as you can to play your best game all day. Oh, in the end, no more touch. Let's see what these boys can do with no more touch.
Yeah, can they finish off in style, trying to reduce this gap? Let's see what they can do. Going from right to left, and here is Mark Field.
Stepping all time.
He's we've mentioned a few times, some players like Duracell Bunnies. And that brings an end then to our second game of the day, and it's a win for Hot Custard over Donnybrook. It was a game that was highly anticipated this morning, and it's the English side who have come out on top. Hugo, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks a lot, guys. That was a pleasure.
In the commentary box, and good luck for the rest of the day.
Thanks a lot to you two guys.
And we'll now move on to our third game of the morning. We'll see Six Pack Roosters taking on BBR. That'll be coming up next. So here we go, our third game of the morning, and this one is set up to be an absolute barnstormer of a game. This is one where you do not want to turn away from the action. It is Six-Pack Roosters taking on the Bareback Riders, BBR, in what is set up to be a fascinating 24 minutes of touch rugby as Six-Pack Roosters look to get off to the perfect starts, and we've already had two brilliant games for you this morning. Hurricanes taking on Buffaloes and Hot Custard taking on Donnybrook. Let's see how BBR can get on their first outing on pitch number one of the favourites of the competition this weekend, and had some good results, although they were put under a lot of pressure early doors yesterday. See how they get on against probably one of the toughest oppositions they'll face this weekend. Over halfway line they come. Nice movement again. Can they try and work something? Callum Smith is there in the middle, alongside Marshall McLeod. So our third game of the day, Six-Pack Roosters taking on BBR, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Hot Custard's Indy Angel Auld after their win against Donnybrook. Just then, it was a game that I was actually really looking forward to. Two really good sides who go at it 100 miles an hour, it seems, and victory for yourselves. You must be delighted.
We were very happy with that. We were feeling a bit dusty this morning after our check-in from London. So yeah, it was a good first hit out for the day.
And what were you looking at going into that game against Donnybrook? They have put in really good performances yesterday, and they're a really intense side, aren't they? Really quick and direct. What were you looking at specifically when you were going into that game?
I think we're just hoping to match that, really. You know, bring our own intensity, bring our own energy, and just make sure we're running hard, hitting holes, doing all the small things right.
And this is another game that I think is going to be an absolute belter. Six-Pack Roosters and BBR, of course. We know a lot about BBR from the NTS series, of course. What do you expect from this one?
Oh, definitely a great game. Nothing like starting the day with a nice cold six-pack. So I think it'll be a good one. I think it'll be a very close match.
And BBR looking to try and get the first score on the board, driving forward through the middle. Can they open up some space? And there we go. Is that the first score? It looks like
put down.
The referee's going to confirm it, and BBR get off to a great start in this first half. And the space just opening up there.
Yeah, he's just pulled that defence across. He's turned his shoulders, and he's in that hole there. He's close to the dead ball line too. It's hard to see those lines there.
Well, you were just speaking to a couple of players yesterday, and they were saying it was quite difficult sometimes, occasions, just to see the lines. Is it quite a struggle out there?
Definitely. I think because there's the other field marked on there. You know, that 5 metre line has got the sort of cement white line just outside it, so it does look like the shy line there.
Of course, with 4 pitches in total here this weekend, and this is the only one, of course, is AstroTurf as well. So what's been the differences when you've been playing on the AstroTurf compared to the grass?
It's actually quite a lot softer. You know, I was expecting it to be quite a hard pitch to play on, but it's lovely.
And an instant reply there from Six-Pack Roosters. So 1 apiece in this first half. And some names in this Six-Pack side, like of Charlie Brett, who's another fantastic player, and of course various amounts of experience across the side. Ross Taylor, 50 plus caps for Scotland. It's it's a game packed full of experience, isn't it?
Definitely, a lot of experience on that side.
And here come BBR crossing over the 10-metre mark and looking to try and get out wide. Lovely, lovely instant reply from BBR. That's just the response they would have wanted. And they worked that one nicely. Bill Kelly on this near side. And it was a relatively easy finish. All the hard work was done for her.
It's just a nice little overlap there. Nice put down there by the winger.
And Clark Hobson playing for BBR today. He wasn't with the side yesterday. A couple of the players are saying an unorganised timed holiday made Clark Hobson unavailable yesterday, but he's back on the field today.
Sounds like you should be playing for Hot Custard. Unorganised holidays are our forte.
And Charlie Brett looking to try and hit back straight away.
That's a good put down.
Well, that was a fantastic work from six-pack Roosters. And it was Shona Campbell. Actually had a lot of work to do. The pass was behind her and still had a couple of yards to make up, so she did well there.
Yeah, she's really had to stop and turn there, hasn't she?
And for yourself, Indy and Hot Custard, what were you thinking coming into the weekend? What was the goal for? Of course, trying to get as far and win the competition, but in terms of coming into the weekend, what were your team's thoughts?
Oh, just have fun. You know, we're a team who loves the social side, loves the off-field stuff. So for us, it's all about just ripping in and having a good time.
And BBR, well, from one end of the pitch to the other. And what a response this is from BBR. Marina Papas, who come flying in from the wing.
I think we were expecting a fast-paced game, and we're definitely getting that delivered.
Absolutely, end-to-end stuff. And in terms of the National Touch Series, how did you find that, playing over in Banbury, Oxford and Manchester? How did that go for you guys?
Look, we're pretty hit and miss. You never quite know what we're going to turn up with. So we had a great third round of the NTS Series, but we're pretty average before that point in time.
You've had some cracking games, actually, with BBR, haven't you, of course, in recent times?
Yeah, a bit of a rivalry developing. Friendly, of course.
Oh, of course. And here come six-pack Roosters looking to try and respond straight away. There's Revel, the experienced Welsh international, was saying yesterday, I think he sleeps in that red cap. I've never seen him take it off.
I think it's like a pair underneath it, to be honest.
And here's Gareth Revel just laying it off Mark Knight, and Revel gets it back. This is good play from BBR, sitting inside their own half, trying to work their way towards the halfway line. Decisive, quick play. Over halfway line they come. What can they do with it? 4.5 minutes remaining. Can they try and extend this gap? This is lovely build-up play from BBR.
Did well to try and get that one away.
Just that final pass, just letting BBR down. But up until then, that looked a fantastic move.
They did, they turned his shoulders there. It's a really good hit from the winger.
And a mistake from the Roosters on the halfway now gives the chance for BBR just on halfway to really try and attack this Roosters defence, although they've kept a high line. Charlie Brett's up early to try and nullify any
Definitely
attack.
Not a team you want to give those opportunities to.
So, six-pack Roosters trying to hold strong defensively, trying to be organised. Let's see what BBR can do. 3.5 to go.
Looks like they're setting up for a sweeper here. Oh, he's taking it.
What an interception, Ross Taylor. Can he get away?
Oh, he's on the treadmill.
He was just looking for angles to go through, and he looked left and right, and there was players there to stop him in his tracks. But still, it was a fantastic interception, and now the new faces come on. Here is Alan Clepane, who makes up some good yards, along now with Marshall McLeod. He was with us in the comms box earlier, saying it's always he was really looking forward to this weekend. And I've seen to a lot of players, and they're saying that they're just really intrigued and excited to play teams from across Europe. It must be great.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic opportunity. I mean, for most of our side, you know, we're Australians, we're Kiwis, so apart from playing each other, we don't really get an opportunity to play teams like this, so it's really exciting.
And BBR, of course, such a well-renowned side, of course, in the NTS series, and one of the favourites coming into the weekend.
Absolutely.
And let's see what they can do from this one. Here's Gareth Revel. He's just waiting in the wings, although trying to sneak his way through. It was Finlay Lockhart.
Just snuck on in there.
He did. So well. When on my notes, and we get a little bit of a sort of stat pack we get given for the weekend, and one of the stats for Finlay Lockhart, more of a fact I should say, is he's currently the team's World European record holder for a Ferrero Rocher in a minute. One of the more interesting unique facts we get over the weekend. But on that occasion, his touch rugby skills did the talking, and he went through there. 4-2 BBR lead, and let's see how they respond. There's Charlie Brett.
You can see him winding up there. He wanted to throw that long.
Charlie Brett and Ross Taylor in the middle there. Here is Charlie Brett, and looks to go wide. There's some space opening up.
That's a shame.
Good covering defence, or the pass was just behind, and opportunity was closed down instantly. So over a minute to go. Here's Hannah Crisp, and trying to push her team forward. Over the 10-metre mark they go. Lively play from BBR, as we've always seen. Over the halfway line they come. Gareth Revel looking to go right, and he does. Here's Clark Hobson. Hobson with a very aggressive touch from Charlie Brett. Making his mark. Gareth Revel making it some really good yards. Oh, going for the line. He almost just lost his bearings.
It's a crawling dive.
We've seen it a couple of times. I think we mentioned earlier about teams have just sort of lost the bearings where the line is. I know RCL Touch yesterday just struggled a few times when they weren't too sure where they were actually positioned on the line, and it's proving quite difficult, isn't it?
It does. It just makes you hesitate for just that second, and that's enough to throw off that try. That's a loopy pass there to the wing.
It was, and
she's
made good
meters.
Well.
Great meters.
Looking to try and work her way forward. That was Shona Campbell. There's Charlie Brett, and that brings an end to the first half in what is an exciting and close encounter between these two, and battle between Scotland and England, as Six-Pack Roosters are behind by 4 points to 2 over BBR. We'll be back for the second half very shortly, in a couple of minutes' time.
A three-man drive is an attacking play which we use to gain momentum. A three-man drive includes 3 players, a half, the person who dumps the ball, and the runner. These 3 players will alternate between themselves in order to create each person's role within that three-man drive. So it'll start with a roll ball. The half will then pass the ball off the deck to the first runner. This first runner will then become the person who dumps the ball, initiating the touch on the defender, for then the person who previously dumped the ball to become the half. A 4-man drive is a 3-man drive, but with another person. The 4-man drive can also be referred to as arrows, and what we're looking to do is the exact same principle as a 3-man drive, but just to add a secondary option of the runner. So you've got 1 runner on the left, 1 runner on the right, and the half will wrap around whichever way they pass the ball, becoming the runner. The best way to complete a 4-man drive or an arrows platform is to hit one side, i.e. to pass the ball to the left, and then to pass the ball to the right, the second runner, and then the left for the third, and so on. A buddy is a 2-man play which we use to create the momentum for a 3- or 4-man drive. A buddy involves the ball being put down, stepped over, the half will then pass back to that same person, and they will run straight into the 3- or 4-man drive.
So here we go, second half then, here at the European Touch Club Championships 2019. Bareback Riders taking on Six-Pack Roosters, and it's BBR who currently lead by 4 points to 2. And it's at that delicate stage of the game where the next score could prove really critical, couldn't it?
Definitely. Six-Pack still well and truly in this one.
And BBR currently on the offensive at the moment. Can the Roosters hold out? And looking for that support out wide. That's a superb pass.
Oh, did she get there? Oh, she has. It's a good cover.
Fantastic cover. And it was Papas again over on that far side, but good defensive work from Six-Pack Rooster. Now this is the opportunity for them to drive up the field, and can they get the next score? Over halfway line they come. Here's Ross Taylor. Charlie Brett now looking to his right. Here's Taylor again, back inside to Brett. Chillingworth is there, the number 50. He skips to the left. Taylor looking to go back inside.
Oh,
Charlie Brett.
Some players calling for 6 again there. Haven't got it.
And an opportunity goes begging. And now BBR can try and mount something from their own half. Looking to that curving run. Are they going to run a sub move, get some fresh faces on?
Some good box side defence here from Six-Pack. They're really getting up and getting high.
Hannah Crisp is on, and Clark Hobson back into the middle for Gareth Revel. Mark Knight picks it up, and now here comes Clark Hobson. Lightning feet, Gareth Revel, Hannah Crisp. This is brilliant work. Oh, just that final pass. It was almost building up ahead of steam for BBR, and they were looking ominous for that next score. But again, like you said, Indy, the high line of this, especially the UK side, is that something you try and work on in terms of trying to put that pressure on the defence early?
Absolutely want to make them work for those metres on the box. If you can take away 3 or 4 touches there and not give them any space to actually attack the line, then that's the dream.
And over the 10 metre mark they go. Oh, what a take. Does the ball get grounded?
That's a great try. Left to right as well. And a really good pick up from the winger there.
Superb. And Six-Pack Roosters are now well back in this. And a really good opportunity now for the Scottish side to try and get back to all square.
Really impressed with these Six-Pack wingers. They're safe as houses when those long balls are coming at them.
And India, I just have a question actually about one of your teammates, Kendall Fry. I've got information apparently that she moved to England from Queensland on a whim after a bet. Is this true?
Well, I think she had a night out and a couple of drinks, and she decided to tell people that she was moving to the UK. And so when she got home, she thought she better apply for the visa. And a couple of months later, here she was, and found her home away from home with hot custard.
Absolutely a remarkable story when I was reading up on that one. And I just wanted to confirm the rumours were true. And here they are. And here we go. So we are and Six-Pack Roosters trying to reduce that deficit again. Can they? Looking to go out wide. Good covering defence from Six-Pack Roosters. Here's Ross Taylor into the middle to Hannah Smith. Here is Ross Taylor looking to go out wide. Is space opening up? There's Shona Campbell there looking to try and claim that long pass. And you're just seeing the distance there. Berlin in a huddle behind the goalpost. They'll be next up here, taking on the Buffaloes, who we've already seen in action earlier on today.
Not sure whether that was a foot on the line or what happened there, but again, that sideline's hard to see as well.
It certainly is. I'm not surprised many people have got confused. It's almost like a faint line, isn't it? It's almost can't really tell. And here's Charlie Brett. Ross Taylor is there. Charlie Brett just making up a few yards. We're so used to the Lewis Burns and Charlie Brett show. It's interesting to see them on different sides this weekend. Here's Emma Smith, and Charlie Brett gets it, looks to go, find Chillingworth, good work. Can they finish it off? They certainly can. Shona Campbell gets in on the act again. And she adds to her personal tally. And with 6.5 minutes gone, we are back to only a point separating. So very close, very tense and tight, and we're being set for a fascinating final quarter of this game. But can BBR hit back straight away? They'll be looking to do so.
Just can't hold on to it there.
It was James Tweedy who was just firing it into Michael. James Tweedy, the youngest in this side this weekend. There's McLeod. He's opting to go to his right hand side. Are they going to get some fresh faces on? Looks like it, and they do. And here they come, the new recruits. Charlie Brett.
They've got some space there.
They certainly did. It's just arcing his run round, and he still has possession, looking to try and work it through into the middle.
Great meters there, getting wide from the six-pack.
Rowan Chillingworth was there to support him. There's Smith back in. And there's Ross Taylor, here's Chillingworth, can they finish it off? Shona Campbell. And as easy as that, that was fantastic work, just almost sucking in that BBR defence, and the space opened up.
It must be a hat-trick there for that number 2 as well. She's got some great ball on the wing there.
Yeah, what a morning she's had. And just like that, 5 minutes remaining, it's 5 apiece. And it's really hard to call, if we are, who's going to take the win.
Six-pack will definitely want to hold out here, keep that even.
Almost like a bit of a sense of urgency now from BBR. They've realised the situation. Clark Hobson was there, looking to try and go through. Nope.
Now get another set of 6 here off that offside penalty.
So really got opportunities. Clark Hobson looking to go left and right. Finley Lockhart gets it back to Hobson. Hobson going in.
I think he was almost not on the inside there if he returned to that. He's going to work these middles here, just do a couple of quickies, get them working, and then they might try and get some more width about them.
Oh, space opening up. Is this the chance for BBR to get back in this?
Good put down.
Yeah, referee confirms, and they do. Leah Gladding just couldn't get there in time, and BBR now find themselves back in front. 6-5 now on the score with just under 4 minutes remaining.
It's a great bounce back there. They've really conditioned those middles for that quickie before getting some width on it. But Six-pack will be hoping to get one back here.
Charlie Brett. What can they do? How can they reply straight away? Charlie Brett again looking to go wide. And it's not Shona Campbell, but the dive comes in.
Touch.
It's a fantastic touch.
It's a good read there by BBR. Saw the wind up and chased that ball straight out. No ball watching inside there. You can see that wing has covered quite a bit of ground to make that touch.
Pappas, she's got a couple of scores to herself, and she's done her defensive duties there as well. So 3 minutes remaining.
BBR just looking like they're slowing it down there a bit. They want to tick that clock down.
Is this where the experience now comes to the fore?
Definitely, I think they'll be wanting to keep it safe here. Just keep the ball in hand, get as many meters as they can, but really tighten up on that defence.
James Tweedy there, the youngster.
Oh, and there's a fumble.
And the least experienced player in this side just forces that error with 2.5 minutes remaining. He just almost looked a bit rushed, didn't he, there?
It did.
Tweedy.
hard not to feel the pressure in a game like this, and the clock's winding down and it's tight. Hard to stay calm out there.
Absolutely. How do you keep your cool when these games are so tight?
You don't have our coach in the box helps.
Oh, and Roosters!
It's a great put down. Has he got it? But they'll get another chance here, another 6 on the line.
Agony for six pack. Can they take advantage of another opportunity?
Less than 2 minutes, they really need to score here.
Callum Smith looking inside to Marshall McLeod.
Really drawing them in on that right-hand side there. They're going to have a lot of space out on this left wing.
Are we going to see that pinged ball across? Here's Marshall McLeod. There it comes. It's looped, it's loft, and it's out. And looks like potentially the opportunity goes begging. So just over a minute remaining. BBR going to use all their experience here to just run down this clock and try and gain a few yards up the field, and looking, passing the ball right and left, just trying to work this six-pack defence onto the halfway line. They come over halfway.
It's good meters though. Oh, it's a bit of a push in there. But she's up. Here we go again.
And another opportunity really to slow things down. 50 seconds remaining. Gareth Revel, he'll be using all his experience now. Here's Clark Hobson. Just toying with the six-pack Rooster defence, doing all sorts. Here's Gareth Revel. Can he weave his way in? Gets the dive in with his right hand, stretches his arm out.
He's a big boy, but he does move that defence around.
He certainly does. He's got twinkle toes feet, hasn't he, Gareth Revel? Closing stages then. Can BBR just kill the game off? Gareth Revel looking to try and work his way through. Clark Hobson is there.
Just holding onto that ball again, just winding that time down. No passes that they don't need to make.
There goes the hooter. And there goes the touch. And that brings an end to our third game of the day. BBR run out 6-5 winners against six-pack Roosters in a game that we were anticipating to be an absolute cracker from the start. And it is BBR who just nudge it by a single point. Well, Indy, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
In the commentary box, and very good luck for the rest of the day. And we'll see you actually in action at 1:30 on pitch number 1.
You will.
And
a shout out to Mum and Dad in Gun Flat.
There we go. And we go on to our next game, which we'll see the Buffaloes back in action, taking on Berlin. That'll be next up here at the European Touch Club Championships 2019. And the action is just coming quicker and quicker throughout the day here in Maidenhead, the European Touch Club Championships 2019. And once again, we see the Buffaloes in action against Touch Berlin. Our first chance to see them today. We saw the Buffaloes in action against Hurricanes in the first game of the day. Hurricanes running out victors on that occasion, but can the Buffaloes do anything about it this time around? Well, here comes Touch Berlin. Oh, what a start for Touch Berlin. That is just the start that they would have wanted. And it's the number 3, Crawford Matthews. And Berlin getting off to an absolute flyer inside the opening minute and a half. And how did the Buffaloes respond to that? They seem to just lose their cool a bit. Myself and Chris Wearmouth were on commentary for that one, and Chris was just thinking that Buffaloes just needed to just go to a quiet place and just chill out and regain their thoughts a bit and go again. And let's see how they do after going a score down in the opening couple of moments. And a turnover possession, and now they've really got to try and keep their cool, Buffaloes. Still plenty of time left in this game, only one down, but here come Touch Berlin. They force the touch and making up some good yardage. Davis and Jeffrey linking up. Oh, lovely flick back from Andrew Davis back to try and find Lewis Jeffrey. But the turnover in possession back in favour of the Buffaloes. And here come Buffaloes. Oh, another mistake, and just errors creeping into the game that we didn't see much of yesterday from the Scottish side. But how can Berlin capitalise on this? They've got a great chance to try and work their way up the field. Sub move on, and some fresh faces come flying onto the field. Over halfway line they come. This is lovely build-up from Berlin. Where was this yesterday? Into the middle. Lafayette, the 5 in the middle. Back into Matthews, who got the ball rolling for Berlin. Oh, great touch, just in the nick of time for the Buffaloes. And here come Berlin. Buffaloes, I should say. Lewis Burns now drinking left and right. Lewis Burns, he looks like he's just trying to do it all by himself on the 10-metre mark. And they come over the halfway line, Berlin, with a bit of spring in their step. That early score has really given them an extra boost coming into this one. Alex Humphrey involved, and look at this, what a long burst to run. There's a chance for Berlin to finish it off. this time. And the referee bringing it back, and opportunity goes begging. Andrew Davis, the Aussie, in this Berlin side. And here come Buffaloes. Can they just get themselves back into this one? Callum Strehan. He gets it back, looking for the line, diving for the line, and that flying touch in. Wow, what a sensational touch from Andrew Davis. He's been here, there and everywhere so far for Berlin. And they earn the turnover possession, and a chance now for the German side to try and force their way up the field. Low scoring affair so far, only the 1 point scored. Over halfway line they come. Opting to go backwards and maybe trying to work some space into a more central position. Pass to the right, over the 10-metre mark they go. Lovely build-up. This is quick, incisive passing from Touch Berlin. Can they work it? Going back inside. Lafarade finds Matthews. Lafarade finds it again. He just jinks past one. Can he get past another? A crucial touch, though, from Kelly Thurgood.
Call it early, Lena. Call it early.
Kelly Thurgood being with the Buffaloes from the very beginning, one of the founding members of this side. Oh, and just couldn't control it. Felix Lemmer going in. Got his first caps at Euro 2018. One of the youngsters in this side. He's at Stuart Gibson now. First we'll look at Gibson in this game. Can he try and work something for his side? They need a spark. They need something to cling on to and get back into this. Gibson now. We run the 5 metre. Opportunity goes and a turnover now, and here come Touch Berlin, who've been disciplined and full of intent this morning. Almost like they've just found an extra bit of energy from somewhere compared to yesterday, and looking to drive on forward. Andrew Davis was there. Back into the centre to find Alex Humphrey. Davis laying it back off to Humphrey. Creeping the way to the 5 metre mark. Can they try and finish something off, or just a pop pass out to the wing? But they were put under pressure straight away from this Buffalo side. They defensively have been very strong apart from that opening minute. Here's Lewis Burns. Over halfway line they come, making some good yards through the middle. Can they try and work something here? They need something. The Buffaloes just lost their edge this morning. And an opportunity now for the Scottish side to try and work something. Here is Lewis Burns. He always seems to come up with the goods when it's needed most. Robeson is there to the left in the jazzy pink shorts. And here's Burns. Back into Robeson. Oh, he just couldn't cling on. He was almost just stretching with the fingertips. And he just saw it palm away. Opportunity goes begging. So 2 minutes remaining. And Touch Berlin have been well organised, well drilled this morning. big difference to the touch Berlin side we saw yesterday. Trying to work it from right to left. Good yards made through the middle. Where's that space just opened up to? This is lovely play from touch Berlin. And look at this turn of speed. And Crawford Matthews has his second of the morning. And touch Berlin are into a 2-point lead going into the break. And what a first half it's been for the Germans. And this is what they would have wanted coming in to this morning here in Maidenhead. And let's see if they can carry this on into the second half of what's been a brilliant first half from touch Berlin. But now Buffaloes with a chance to respond. This is the time to get a score if they can just before half time. Try and undo the good work from touch Berlin. There's Chambers laying it off out to the wing. Oh, and the ball goes dead and the chance is gone. And let's see how touch Berlin play this one. Are they just going to use their time with it? Oh, they're trying to race up the other end of the field. Yards made up, quick hands, passing with purpose this morning, touch Berlin as well. And they get towards the 10-metre mark. Buffalo's almost tired and lackadaisical as well. Oh, and Crawford Matthews going in again on the hooter and has his third of this first half. And what a 12 minutes of touch rugby it's been for touch Berlin, and they are into a 3-score lead going into the break. Well, who saw this coming? The Buffaloes now have it all to do now, and we'll wait and see how the Buffaloes will respond in this second half. But at the break, it's the Buffaloes from Scotland 0, the German side touch Berlin 3.
The Mexican standoff starts when the defensive team make their 5-metre line. The moment one person from the 6 step into that 5-metre line, the whole team then has to move forward until the touch is either imminent or initiated. The Mexican standoff has one other rule where the attacking team, if they enter the 5-metre channel, the defensive team no longer have to walk up. But until then, the defensive team have to move forward until the touch is imminent.
Forward 44! Gotta stay forward, gotta stay up! Still forward, no pulling back early. Still up, 27, stay up! Stay up! Now drop! Scoreline, girls!
So back underway then in this second half, and touch Berlin, can they pick up from where they left off? And Buffaloes, what was said at half time, how can they get some momentum back into the play. Let's see what Touch Berlin can do on their first attack. This will really put the wind in the sails again going into the second half. Lovely play and going for the line. Lewis Jeffrey, referee just signaling touch just comes in on the line, so not on this occasion. Alex Humphreys there now, just simple little pop off, and Humphreys gets it back to his man Davis. Davis going in and weaving past, trying to get past Robson. Davis. Oh, a fantastic run from the youngster from Touch Berlin, Felix Lemmer. And the youngster adds one to himself for his personal tally. And high fives all around as Touch Berlin get off to a tremendous start in this second half. They lead by 4 points to 0. How do Buffaloes respond? They need something now, and otherwise, are they ever going to get back into this one? Looking to go left and going for the line. It was Duncan Harper instigating some space in there. Here's Matthias Malaguti. Represented Scotland's men's open team, and here's Stuart Gibson going in. Malaguti getting it to Stuart Gibson. Gibson going long with a lofted pass that seemed to like it hang in the air for an eternity. But now Touch Berlin looking to come forward themselves over their own 10 metres. Oh, but referee seen something, and up. Great chance now for Buffaloes. Here's Malaguti. Angus Lowson. Callum Shrian. Lowson now, Shrian in support, and Shrian just ordering his players to try and work an angle for his teammate. A nice little layoff and looking to try and work some space in the middle, but the pass to his left was pinged at Angus Casadillo. It was Callum Shrian, I do apologise in the middle of that. Davis. Max Lepenard is also now involved for Touch Berlin. On, they need something. And Scott Robeson just leaving the field. It's just holding his face. It looked like he may have been just caught in the eye. Let's hope it's not a nasty injury. For the Scotland under-18s, the former Scotland under-18s boys player. Lewis Burns now. What can Burns do? Gets it back from Malaguti. Lewis Burns tries to get it over the line. Malaguti back to Burns. Burns just halted in his tracks by Matthew Crawford. And turnover, and Matthew Crawford, is he going to set off again? Stuart Gibson just leaving the field there for Buffaloes, and now he's made his way back on. He's just having a quick word with the referee, just a timeout at the moment. And Gibson now makes his way off. Now Touch Berlin just trying to creep their way towards 5 metre. A lot of confusion going out on the field. Malaguti getting the touch in. Crawford Matthews. Oh, and Crawford Matthews, does he just weave his way through? No, just that touch on the line. Felix Lemmer was there in support. The youngster here goes over the head of Lemmer and finds Lafayette. Lafayette with Lemmer in support. Lafayette just trying to go himself. Oh, he's gone down, holding his ankle. Was he just clipped there? In some serious discomfort as soon as the contact came in, and he looks in a bad way. Let's hope that he's all right, and he's getting a warm round of applause from the spectators that are in the stand. Three minutes remaining. What can Touch Berlin do? He just falls short. It was Leonard Earp. And here comes Malaguti. He feels pumped up for the final couple of moments. What can he do? Can he try and drive his side on? Lowson over the 10 metres. Lewis Burns now back into the middle with Sheehan. Sheehan with Burns. Burns going over the 5 metres. Some good yards made up, but he needs that support as the half, and he does get the support. Referee agrees with Buffaloes, and that's their first score, but it looks like too little too late for the Scots. So a minute and a half remaining. Touch Berlin looking to go for the line. Oh, and they just worked their way through, and the touch was coming in, but referees saying he was offside, and that means that the Berlin player can just waltz his way through. And with a minute to go, Berlin extend that lead as they lead by 5 points to 1 now. Over the 10-metre mark they go, Buffaloes. The game is gone, but can they just reduce this points difference? Every point could be vital today. And there's Lewis Burns just dancing left and right, trying to create an angle for himself to go through. So 15 seconds remaining. What can they do? Oh, they do go through. And on the buzzer as well, Linny Lynn just collapsed at the line, and that meant the Buffaloes could go through. And that brings an end to our 4th game of the day, and it's a win for Touch Berlin after a fantastic first half showing. 3 scores from Crawford Matthews set Touch Berlin well on their way, and they have defeated the Buffaloes. And we'll now move on to our next game, which will be Donnybrook taking on Six Pack Roosters. This should be another cracking contest between really 2 great sides we've seen this weekend. So don't go anywhere. Get yourself a cup of tea, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Donnybrook taking on Six Pack Roosters coming up next. So back underway then here in Maidenhead, the European Touch Club Championships 2019. We are set up for another absolute belter of a game as Donnybrook of Ireland taking on Six Pack Roosters of Scotland. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Greg Cropper for this one. And actually looking at the fixture list for today, this is one of those games where you sort of rub your hands together and go, we're in for a treat here.
100% it is, yeah. There's a high skill level from both teams that have been on show for the last couple of games that we've seen them here, Brad. So yeah, it's either going to be a score fest and both teams just going out there and scoring, or they're going to be a bit cautious and just looking to add to their defence or not. So I think in the first couple of minutes will be the deciding factor to see how that's going to go.
And we saw Six Pack Roosters trying to get off to the perfect start, and again another slight knock. It was John Ennis this time for Donnybrook, and we saw in the game previously one of the Touch Berlin players actually limbering off. So, over halfway line they come, Donnybrook's first attack then. Let's see what they can do with it, and they're driving forward. Good yards made up, full of energy and momentum. They had a fantastic day yesterday, Donnybrook, and played Hot Custard early on. Hot Custard got the victory over Donnybrook, so this could be an interesting one to see how they respond. Space opening up, and I was almost tempted to say the score was going in.
Good driving up the field now. Some space has come from the six-pack team up to halfway early in the team sheet. In the score count, sorry.
And McLeod involved and looking to get his team up the field full of their energy, and a bit of a skip and a jump from Callum Smith there. Here's McLeod, he gets it back to Smith. McLeod gets it in and goes for the line. And two Donnybrook players just colliding with each other as McLeod was going in, but no score, so they hold out. Nearly looked like a very nasty clash.
It did, yeah. There's a second person holding their head in the first couple of minutes of this game.
And here come Donnybrook, some fresh faces come on over the halfway line. Good pace and momentum to this attack.
Referee's pulled it back here. A technical error there by the Donnybrook team over the mark at the halfway line, so they didn't use the opportunity that they had. Six-pack are just coming to get to this sideline to get some fresh legs on.
Here's Charlie Brett. Chillingworth now as well. Here's Brett. Gets it back from Smith. More central. Is there going to be some space opening up on the wings? Although this Donnybrook defence is spread well and well organised. And Smith. And Gladding was there as well. Here's Taylor. Taylor, just a simple pass back to Brett. Brett gets it into Taylor again. Oh, and Taylor just waltzes through, but needs the support, of course. Charlie Brett is there. Did they get it down in time? Yeah.
The referee is happy. It didn't look like he was going to get that one down there, Brad. It looks, it was very close. There's a lot of confusion. He's step, step, step again. Hole opens up, and then Charlie Brett just loses his defender.
And that take from Charlie Brett as he reached out his right hand to just claw the ball into his chest, and Taylor and Charlie Brett linking up nicely, and so you get the first score of the game. And here come Donnybrook. How do they respond themselves into a central position?
I think like you were saying earlier on in the games, it's all about getting that partnership together, and those two definitely have that. When's that one that starts working out, they're quite unstoppable, some of these players. So let's see how Donnybrook respond.
And here come Donnybrook. Can they respond in the right way? Yeah, Sean Balance there, 19 caps for the Ireland men's open side.
It's fifth touch. Ball is down, so six-pack get away with that one again. And as they come driving back out of their own half now. Again, back to the box to get some fresh legs on. Stephen Troy just making the touch there.
Here's McLeod.
Over the halfway line.
Good yards made up there from McLeod, and now it's Chillingworth making that arcing run. Charlie Brett is there in support. Ross Taylor. Are we going to see Taylor and Brett linking up again? Here is Taylor, steps to his right and back into Brett. This could be lovely. Super from left to right. Chillingworth and then in, and six-pack Roosters have double their lead. That was one of the scores of the day and potentially the weekend. That was brilliantly well moved from left to right. And six-pack Roosters now move into a two-score lead.
Yeah, some great movement there by all the players. A little jink, a little step, a bit of a dummy, and the space was just enough for the link there to dive over the scoreline. So yeah, very good piece of play there by the six-pack team.
Phelan and John Ennis now linking up there, another little duo who work nicely. What a response that is from Donnybrook, and what a minute of touch rugby we've just seen. Another superb score, and this time it's from Donnybrook. And that link up in the middle of Mark Phelan and John Ennis proving decisive, and the space just opens up on that far side. And as easy as that, Donnybrook reduced that lead back to 1 again.
Yeah, one of the set tap-off moves that is obviously something that they do in training sessions, etc. So you see them do that a couple of times. They've scored quite a few times off that exact same move, but it came off perfectly then for them, just when they needed it as well.
Absolutely. And here comes Six-Pack Roosters. Can they respond straight away? Callum Smith. Played at the World Cup for the Scotland Men's Open side, and here goes and the dramatic dive. The dive's all well and good, but you've got to take the ball with you. And it was almost felt like it was in slow motion, that ball just getting away from it.
She was lucky there. They've gone back for a penalty. So see if they've got, they can keep hold of it this time.
Here's Callum Smith. Good pressure from John Ennis, more aggressive from Ennis, who saw that yesterday.
Yeah, he missed the first play, went straight through the ruck there. He was lucky to not have a penalty against him. And there you go, there is one now for pulling out earlier. They had the advantage originally, but they come back for the penalty.
So there's Smith now. Clepane is there with McLeod to the right. McLeod does get it over the 5 metre and looking to go long. Is some space opening up, needs work to do. Gladding. Oh, that's superb work from the winger, Leah Gladding. And she had plenty still to do. She got the ball a couple of yards away from the line, and that was lovely work from the winger.
Very much so. That step inside, the covering Donnybrook player, James O'Donnell, just couldn't get there in time. Good honesty by him. Hands in the air, said, no, I missed her. But yeah, very good set play that.
And here come Donnybrook looking to try and respond straight away. Oh, good footwork and good ball handling as well.
Again, that exact same move that they did previously as well. Just didn't come off that time, but here they go. They've still got another set on the line.
Sean Balance now. Gets it back, goes for the line.
The ball is down, the sideline referee is happy. The on-field ref is happy.
Well, they look pumped to Donnybrook, and they mean business.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for calling. I'll go back up again, no worries. Yeah, thank you, Mel.
McLeod into Hannah Smith. Smith jinking in or out. McLeod gets it with Callum Smith there. Can those three link up? McLeod gets it back to Smith. A bit of a jump in the air, and McLeod tries to find Hannah Smith.
You can see he's asking for ball being played at there, but I think he just played it into the defender and he was just looking to make a touch. So right call there by the referee, as Donnybrook now start to bring them fresh legs back on the field. Driving up just over halfway. Ennis, a good platform for them there. Lots of space for the middle. He's gone long. Oh, just unfortunate. I think he probably had a bit more time than he thought, though. He had a bit of more of an opportunity to get closer to his winger than for that speculative pass. So Six-Pack have a reprieve there. And as they come back, driving just over 1.5 minutes to go now.
There's Ross Taylor. He's bulldozing his way through. Charlie Brett looking out to that far side. Lots of work to do for Shona Campbell. Toying and twisting, trying to work the space, but doesn't give away the touch, which could be crucial. Here's Charlie Brett. There is the touch. Now Ross Taylor gets it back to Charlie Brett looking to go out wide, spreading it from left to right and going in, but the touch definitely comes in on this occasion. That's the sixth and final one, and good defence from Donnybrook, who shut out any opportunity on the wing there for Six-Pack Roosters.
They weren't getting done by that same thing again, step back inside the winger and score. So James O'Donnell was definitely making sure that he had the cover on this one.
So on halfway, here come Donnybrook. Good work, and trying to get the ball back inside. 30 seconds remaining of this first half.
6 touches on the line, so this would be a great opportunity for them to score just before the half-time hooter. They've probably only got 1 or 2 touches. They may not know how long's left on the clock, but
there goes the hooter. Does the touch come in? Can they work something? There is that touch, and that brings an end to the first half then of a game that we were anticipating and really looking forward to this morning in the Cup competition. Donnybrook taking on Six-Pack Roosters, and at the break it is the Scottish side, Six-Pack Roosters, who lead Donnybrook by 3 points to 2. We'll be back for the second half in a couple of moments' time.
In touch, you can have rolling substitutions. The attacking team will use this in their favour in order to get fresh legs onto the pitch. A subbing move will usually take place when a defensive turnover occurs. A subbing move can be anything from a backdoor play or a 3-man drive in order to get the space on the field for 3 or 4 fresh players to come onto the pitch. When subbing on, you have to enter in an onside position in what's called the gate. This is the 10-metre channel from both sides of the pitch, and you have to enter onto the pitch and off the pitch through this gate as well.
So here we go at the break then. Let's have a run through the tables then. This is in the bowl competition. Triple X Amsterdam currently leading the way, played 3-1-3. And then looking at the cup competition, really close and tight after 2 games from all sides. Plenty of movement could happen in that table. Hot Custard currently leading the way at the moment, but Roosters, Hornets, BBR and Donnybrook all on 5 points. And now we look at the plate competition. Hurricanes and Touch Berlin can't be separated after 3 games. Only the points for and against. So we still plenty of touch rugby left to play then. Throughout the day, it's set up to be a fascinating day here at the European Touch Club Championships 2019. It could still go any way, really. Greg?
Yes, the top spot is definitely not guaranteed in any of those divisions at the moment. Like you're saying that, there's 4 teams all on the same points. It's just a point differential, and some of it only 1 or 2 points in it. So it's not just about winning the game, it's winning it by a margin as well, and making sure that you've got a positive scoreline at the end of it in terms of the points that you've accumulated over the day. So all still to play for in this cup and all of the competitions. As Six-Pack go wide, score comes in there by the winger. Donnybrook wouldn't have wanted that straight off the tap off with only 30 seconds played.
Yeah, the first attack and first score of the second half, and it's Shona Campbell. She's already got a few this weekend, and she's proved her worth for this Six-Pack Rooster side. Now, how do Donnybrook respond? And they've got the chance to firstly attack to... And here comes Mark Phelan back into John Ennis.
Again, another technical error there by Donnybrook, just over the mark again. They've had a couple of those today, so they were disappointed in that missed opportunity now. And I don't think you can't miss those opportunities when the amount of times that the game is only 25 minutes long, which is a good probably 6 or 7 sets of attack that you would normally have more than that in a 40-minute game. So you've got to take every opportunity. As Sixpack just lose that opportunity there by a drop ball. So this is where now Donnybrook have got to capitalise on that. A good strong drive, a good transition, and then pick something up off the back of this, hopefully for them.
Let's see what they can do. And like you said, Greg, you don't want to be getting too far behind. With the time just flies by in these games. And here comes Donnybrook. Can they try and capitalise on an opportunity here? As the space was opening up, they can't, and that's another chance that's missed for them. Let's see what Six Roosters can do deep inside their own half. Here's Charlie Brett. Ross Taylor picks it up. Looking to go left with Smith. Good quick hands, and now some yards really can be made up. And here's Smith again in support. Charlie Brett.
Not sure what happened then, but it was ball is on the ground, and Donnybrook come back here now. I think for them, they definitely need the next score. Just from a mental point of view, that they would need that next one to stay in this game. 2 points to the good are the Roosters.
Yeah, 9 minutes remaining. They definitely need to try and find something from somewhere. Here's John Ennis. He's normally the man who can try and do something, and trying to go in for the line. And do they get over? No, the touch from the signal by the referee. It was James O'Donnell, Irishman open player, trying to weave his way through. Back into the middle is Mark Phelan, almost barking the instructions for all the players on the pitch. Phelan looking to go right, opposite to go left to find his teammate John Ennis. Phelan gets it back, jinks it in and out, needs that support.
The ball was too high to catch and get it down early. I think it probably should have gone to the winger there. They'd be disappointed with that. Good play, jink, step. And if you look how high that ball is, she's got an acre of space out on the wing. You can't even see the winger, she's in that much space out of the camera angle. A lower pass may have been opportunity to get it on the ground, but...
Here's Taylor, Chillingworth now. Good turn of acceleration from Chillingworth, and he goes for that dive, but good touch on the line. And Donnybrook need to defend everything now. They can't be giving away any more points, and that maybe is just the area that Donnybrook needed, and they look to try and get up to the under end of the pitch as quickly as they possibly can. Look at the yards made up, and what a run this is. James O'Donnell turns, places the ball down, and that is just what the Irish team needed.
They definitely did. I don't know where he found that space from. It just seemed to open up for him. I don't think they were ready for that. Ross Taylor offside. Flat-footed the winger. And he just puts down his foot. A little hop, a skip and a jump to put the ball down there. Well, it's definitely what they needed. So only 1 point in it now with 7 minutes to go. Still all to play for in this cup match.
And again, we've got another, like you said, tight affairs. We've seen a couple of these games go to the very, very latter stages. Only a point separating the side. Marshall McLeod tried to get the ball out to this near side where Shona Campbell was waiting.
Whisper behind the ball there for these two.
Smith now dancing, jumping up in the air, trying to put off his opponent. And again, just a quiet word to McLeod. McLeod is there in support. And McLeod gets it back into Smith. touch just on the line stops that from getting any further. Here's Callum Smith again. They're going to run something similar. McLeod then looks to spread the ball out wide. Shona Campbell's there, and when Shona Campbell is in that space.
Yep, you know she's always catching that. It's good. It's a good play this by the six-pack team. They've run 3 players back to back, each one of them slightly different. Condition the defence well, collapse the defence a little bit over to that one side, and then gone long. Very well executed set of moves.
Oh, lovely play from Donnybrook, and John Ennis just holding his arms aloft, and he was happy with that one, and that's an instant reply, and all that good work from the Six-Pack Roosters is undone in a matter of seconds, and now we have the game back on again with 5 minutes to go.
Exactly. As I was saying before, that tap-off move, they've run a lot of times now, and they keep scoring off it. Six-Pack had adjusted their defence to stop it happening, which is what they're expecting them to do, so they ran something just a slight deviation and didn't pass it to the sweeper, passed it back inside. So a really good, clever bit of play there by Donnybrook. They definitely needed that score as well to keep in the game with the length of time that's left.
Now look at the sense of urgency and the adrenaline now pumping through the legs of these Donnybrook players. They're sensing this opportunity to try and strike. Over the halfway line they come, full of momentum, blood pumping. Over the 10-metre mark they go. Here's Mark Phelan, normally the instigator for this Donnybrook side. John Ennis. Oh, and the referee brings it back, and that good momentum they build up is now gone away.
Another 10 metres for throwing the ball away there by Ennis. Just need to keep the discipline in this last 4 minutes of the game.
Taylor just laying it off to Clepane, and now's McLeod. Clepane and McLeod just quickly passing amongst the pair of them. Smith. Oh, look at this. No messing about from Six-Pack Roosters. They're saying that Donnybrook looked like they were fired up. Well, the Roosters looking to try and kill the game off. Smith looked to try and find his teammate McLeod. 3.5 minutes to go.
5th touch, so they're going to have to just speculative pass. Oh dear. No, the touch was just made. I thought they'd just snuck around the outside there. That would have been devastating for the Donnybrook team. But the winger just covered in time.
So on at halfway, Donnybrook looking to try and attack that line, and they do cross it. And here comes the cavalry. Over the 10-metre mark they come.
Again, another error there. A drop ball in the drive, which they'll be disappointed with. They probably only get 1 or 2 further attacks with the time ticking away.
Campbell just laying it off to Chillingworth, making that arcing run over the 10-metre mark. Jinking in and out, and here's Taylor in support. Taylor just to the left of him, and there's Hannah Smith in your picture as well, number 31. And here's Charlie Brett out of nowhere coming into your picture, and Shona Campbell was there, and normally she's so reliable to claim the ball, but that was a tough one to take.
Yeah, just a bit high and a bit hard, that one. I think the winger had already got that covered as well, so there's a bit additional pressure with somebody right there in your face as well. So Donnybrook coming back here now over the 10-metre line, over the halfway line. We're asking for over the mark at every opportunity here. He was frustrated with the last one that didn't go his way. Big touch there, so a penalty. This could be a vital set of 6 for the Donnybrook team. And it is. The ball is down. They've evened it up.
Well, that was absolutely sensational from Mark Phelan. Just when he needed to pull something out of the bag, they do, and we're at 5 apiece going into the final minute. Are we going to see our first draw here on pitch number 1 today? Or can Six-Pack Roosters go up the other end and spoil the party? Let's see what they can do. Over the 10-metre mark they go, Kleppe, and here's McLeod. McLeod will want to be trying to push his team on, and here's Callum Smith.
And this slowing it down, getting the right players in the right spots, this is where the games are won and lost, aren't they, in terms of that experienced team have got that bit more composure, a bit more patience on the line to get the players in the right positions before they rush and do something. But 35 seconds left on our clock. I don't think Six-Pack will have another opportunity to score unless there's some errors in this drive. So Donnybrook with the last attack of the game.
Can they win it at the very last? We've seen a game one bang on the hooter. This could be a chance. Is there going to be some space opening up, looking to go left? Chances to finish it off.
Going to get 6 more. They won't know how long's left on the clock, but the buzzer is about to go wide as expected. This is the last play.
Here's Boyce. Troy trying to get through, and that brings an end to what has been a fantastic game between Donnybrook and Six-Pack Roosters. Nothing could separate them, 5 points apiece, and that was one of the games of the weekend.
Excellent game. That was what we was expecting. It was going to be end-to-end stuff from both teams, both experienced clubs from the stuff that we'd seen yesterday and for the performances they've been put in throughout the weekend. So probably I think a fair result there, Brad, in terms of there was not one standout scene. They were both very good technically. A lot of good set plays and set movements. A very good fair result, I think, in the light of everything that's gone on.
So there we go, our first draw of the day. Donnybrook and Six-Pack Roosters finishing at 5 apiece. And now we'll move our attention to the bowl competition, and we're going to see Triple X Amsterdam taking on Touch Barcelona. That will be coming up next, live here on the England Touch Rugby YouTube channel and BBC Sport Align. This is the European Touch Club Championships 2019.